Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's phase 2 of your tables quiz. So my objective for this quiz is that I want you to list the different relative frequencies in a two-way data table and compare a marginal frequency to a conditional frequency to look for a possible association. Here I have my now hopefully very familiar table on burger joint preference. It's possible that you made up your own table. That's fine. So the first thing I'm looking for, and you would do this, by the way, in Google Docs. I'm doing this on a different app right now because I can show color more easily. But you're going to do this on Google Docs. Your first task is to list all the joint relative frequencies. And as a reminder, a joint relative frequency would be the not row or column total. So say something like, I don't know, this. This would be a not row or column total over the grand total. So you're going to take all of these guys and look at the ratio of those numbers to the grand total. There's could be, as you can see, 6 of them. So you might say that, that one is 6 out of 50. And I want to see you practice reducing your fractions. So this is 3 out of 25. And I want you to convert from fractions to percents. I want you to show all of this. And so 3 out of 25 is going to be 12%. So that's one of them. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more you need to go find. Okay. I'm going to erase my blues here. Okay. And next, and this is maybe kind of tedious, but I think it's a very good way for you to have a clear idea of what the difference is between a joint and a marginal relative frequency. Is we're going to do all the marginal relative frequencies. There's 5 of them. For instance, the marginal relative frequency of going to Toby Johnson, for instance, is going to be 22 out of 50%, which is reduce your fraction, that's 11 out of 25, and that's 44%. I want both reduced fractions and percents as you do this. And there's going to be, I think, there's going to be 5 here. If you use my table, if you made up a different table, you might have a different number of marginal relative frequencies. Okay, finally, there's a whole bunch of conditional relative frequencies. Sorry, guys, but there are. I'm going to erase everything here. In fact, there's 12. Let's see if we can spot them. Again, the conditional relative frequency is the not row or column total over the subtotal for the rows and columns. So just as an example, let's look at the conditional relative frequency of preferring 5 guys here, right? Given that you are going to Toby Johnson, over the total number of people who prefer 5 guys. Okay, so that would be, I'm going to shade that here in red. So one of them here is going to be 3 out of 15, which is 1 over 5, or 20%. But you've also got this one here. Notice that we also have this subtotal over here. So if we could also say this is 3 out of 22, which you can't reduce. But you can say 3 divided by 22 is approximately 13.6%. And that's going to be that 13.6%. That's the people who are who prefer Five Guys and go to Toby Johnson over the total number of people who go to Toby Johnson. Whereas the first one, the 3 out of 15, is the people who prefer Five Guys and go to Toby Johnson out of the total people who prefer Five Guys. Okay, so there's going to be a total of 10 more of those. You're just going to list them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kind of a lot of work. But you can have a real good sense for what a conditional frequency is here. Now, the final thing, and here's where it gets more fun, is once we do all that, and I would recommend actually taking a break after you list out all your frequencies and then coming back, and you're going to write a little paragraph. And I have it all prepped out for you here. And if you'd say something along these lines, and you could just kind of copy this if you're using my data table, we can see that the marginal relative frequency of going to Toby Johnson is, actually we have it right there, don't we? So if you use that, it would be a fraction. It would be 11 over 25 or 44%. Now I picked one of the conditional relative frequencies. You could pick a different one. There's a couple possibilities, right? There's multiple possibilities here. But if you pick Toby Johnson, I want a conditional relative frequency that has to do with Toby Johnson somehow, okay? We can also see, in this case, that the conditional relative frequency of preferring in and out, given that you're attending Toby Johnson, is whatever it is. And this is going to show, I'm not going to work out the numbers for you here, but it would show, seems to me, looking at this, that in comparing, sorry, I'm going to kind of fix this up here. In comparing this ratio and this ratio, I'm rather certain that you're going to see that going to Toby Johnson is negatively associated with preferring Five Guys. Maybe you can see why. And that is all I have to say to you about what you need to do for your quiz. I want you to, again, to review. You're going to need to have a table, okay? We worked on making one of those in the last video. You're going to just list out all these different frequencies, okay? You're going to do that, just making a list. Time consuming, but really pretty straightforward once you have the table. And then comes the fun part at the very end, is that you get to be a data scientist. You get to see if you can make a credible case that the marginal relative frequency that you pick is going to be different, or maybe not different, from the conditional relative frequency that you pick. And if it's different, you can say that there's an association. You can't say how strong the association is. You can't say that the association is what's called statistically significant, but you can, using the methods that we've learned in this unit, look and see whether there is an association between the two variables you've picked or not. And that is a very powerful position to be in. So I hope you enjoy this. Remember to turn it in on a Google Doc and only on the assignment for this week. Thank you.